once again in our new class. So do you remember about what we are discussing right now in social? Yes, about the frigid zone, right? So in the last class we have discussed about the climate and plant life in the frigid zone. So first tell me, what is the frigid zone? It is one among the three temperature zones, right? So what are the three temperature zones we have? The torrid zone, the temperate zone and the frigid zone, right? So among them, now we are learning about the frigid zone. So where is this frigid zone located? In the northern hemisphere, it is between the Arctic Circle and the North Pole, and in the southern hemisphere, it is between the Antarctic Circle and the South Pole, right? Very good. So how is the climate here? So it is located far away from the equator, right? So sun's rays will not fall directly on it. So it is very cool and fully covered with snow, right? So it has only two seasons. What are they? Summer and winter. And how is the winter season? It is a very long season and it lasts for about 9 months in a year, right? And it is completely covered with snow during this winter season. And how is the summer season? Yes, summer season is also cold and it lasts for only 3 months. And in winter season, the sun never rises at all. And in summer season, we can see the sun in the sky for 24 hours. Very good. These are the things we have learned in the climate, right? And now how is the plant life here? See, the ground is fully covered with snow, right? So it is impossible for the plants to grow. But in the summer season, when the snow melts, small short plants like shrubs and herbs will grow here, right? Very good. So as the land is covered with snow, it is also known as tundra region. Okay. So these are the things we have learned in our previous class. So in today's class, we are going to discuss about the animal life and the life of the people in this frigid zone. Okay. Shall we start? So first let us discuss about the wild life in the frigid zone. Okay, how is the wild life in the frigid zone? Yes, first let us see what are the adaptations these animals have to live in this frigid zone. Okay, so what do you mean by adaptations? So we have learned in desert also, right? So desert, the climate will be very hot, right? And there will be no water. So the animals living there will have some special features to adapt to those conditions. Similarly, here it is very cool, right? So the animals living here will also have some special features to cope with that cool climate. Okay. So now let us see what are those special features these animals have. Okay. So first see, only very few animals can survive here. Okay. Not more animals or not all animals cannot survive here. Why? Because it is completely covered with snow and very cool, right? So, because of the cool climate, not all animals can survive here, okay? Only very few animals can survive here. And see, what are the adaptations these animals have? Animals have thick fur to protect themselves from the cold, okay? So, these animals will have thick hair, okay? So, to protect themselves from the coldness, okay? So, this fur will provide heat to them, right? So, to protect from the extreme coldness, these animals will have thick fur, okay? And then see next point, most animals have white fur which helps them to blend into the landscape, okay? So how will be the landscape in the frigid zone? It is completely covered with snow, right? What is the color of the snow? It is white, right? See, now this animals is also having white fur, okay? These animals will also have white fur so that they can blend into the landscape, okay? So we cannot easily differentiate between the animals and the snow, okay? So that is the next adaptation they have. And then see, sometimes their fur turns light brown in summer. So in summer the snow starts melting, right? So at that time, some animals, okay, for some animals, their fur will again turn into light brown, okay? And then see, some animals hibernate during winter since no food is available. So in winter season, every place is covered with snow. So finding food is very difficult, right? So at that time, many animals will hibernate. So what do you mean by hibernate? They will go for a long sleep, okay? Mostly they will sleep, okay? So Some animals hibernate during winter season since no food is available. As there is no food, they will go for a long sleep. Okay. And then see what bats will do. Bats migrate to warmer regions during the long winters. So what do you mean by migrate? Migrating means moving from one place to another, right? So during this long winter seasons, the bats there will move to some warmer regions. Okay, to find food and shelter, they will move to some warmer regions. Okay, so thus bats will protect themselves from the cool winters. Okay, so these are some of the adaptations they have. So Semi, what are the adaptations they are having? So animals have thick fur to protect themselves from the cold, and then say most animals will have white fur which helps them to blend with the landscape, and then sometimes their fur turns light brown and summer. Okay, and then some animals hibernate during winter since there is no food, and birds will migrate to warmer regions during this long winters. Okay, now let us see what are the animals we can see in this frigid zone. Okay, so first is Arctic fox. This is the fox we can see in the frigid zone. Okay, see, its fur is white, right? So it is having more fur and it is white, right? So this is Arctic fox. Okay, and then see polar bear. Polar bear, we are familiar with that, right? So this is polar bear. Okay. And then see reindeer. We know reindeer, right? With Santa Claus we can see reindeer, right? So this is reindeer. Okay. And then musk ox. See, all the animals are having thick fur, right? So this is musk ox. Okay. And then Arctic hare. Hare means rabbit, right? So this is the type of rabbit we can see in this frigid zone. Okay. Arctic hare. And then walrus. Okay, this is walrus. It is like sea animal, right? Walrus. And then seal. I think you know this animal, right? This is seal. Okay. And then penguin. We are familiar with penguin, right? Penguin. And then see killer whale. So in the ocean, in this Arctic region, we can see killer whale. Okay. And what are the birds we can see here? Arctic tern. This is Arctic tern. And then harlequin duck. Okay, harlequin duck. These are the two birds we can see here. Okay. Yes, now say me what are the animals we can see here? Arctic fox, polar bear, reindeer, musk ox, Arctic hare, walrus, seal, penguin and killer whale. Okay. And what are the birds we can see here? Arctic tern and harlequin duck. Okay. So these are the things about the wildlife in the frigid zone. Okay. So we have seen what are the adaptations those animals have to live in that cool climate, and also we have seen what are the animals and birds we can see in the frigid zone, right? Yes. Now let us discuss how is the life of the people in the frigid zone. Okay. See, population is low due to extremely cold climate. Very less population only, okay, because of the extremely cold climate. And see in Antarctica, where is Antarctica? So in the southern frigid zone, okay, in the southern hemisphere, in the frigid zone we have only Antarctica. That is a separate continent, right? But no one is living there. So in Antarctica, life is next to impossible. That means life is at most impossible. Okay, that is in the southern hemisphere. And in northern hemisphere, people live near the coast where snow melts in summer. So in northern hemisphere, we can see people living near the coast. Okay, coast means near to seaside. Okay, so at least they can hunt sea fishes, right? At least they can have seafood, right? And in these regions, the snow will melt in summer. Okay. So in Antarctica, that is in the southern hemisphere, life is impossible. Okay. And then in northern hemisphere, people live near the coast alone. Okay. And there the snow will melt in summer. And then see, the people who live in Greenland, Russia and Canada, we will say them as Inuits. Okay. Inuits. People who live in Greenland, Russia and Canada are known as Inuits. And the people who live in Alaska are known as Aleutians. Okay, simply we are giving a name to them. So the people who belong to Greenland, Russia and Canada are known as Inuits, and the people who live in Alaska are Aleutians. Okay, and they live in permanent houses made of wood. Okay, they are living in permanent houses. Now we are having our home, that is our permanent home, right? And it is made of bricks. In the same way, they will also live in permanent houses that is made of wood, okay? But in desert, we have seen they will live in temporary houses, right? Simply they will make a tent and live there. But here, the people will live in permanent houses that is made of wood, okay? And then see what are the main occupations? Hunting and fishing. Their main occupations are hunting and fishing. And agriculture is not possible as the ground remains frozen for most of the year. Okay. So winter season lasts for about 9 months, right? So at that time it is completely covered with snow. So agriculture is impossible here. Okay. And see, but nowadays people are able to grow crops in summer when the snow melts. Okay. But nowadays people can grow crops in summer when the snow melts. Okay. So see, what are the clothes these people are wearing? People wear clothes made from wool and animal skin. Okay. So this will protect them from the cold, right? So in our place also during winter season we will wear woolen clothes only, right? So people living there also will wear wool clothes made from wool and animal skin. Okay. So that will help them to protect themselves from the extreme cold weather. Okay. And then see, people travel by sledges pulled by dogs or use a snowmobile. Okay. For traveling they are using sledges. We know sledges, right? Our Santa Claus will travel by sledge, right? So that is a sledge, okay? Or else they will use snowmobile, okay? They cannot use the ordinary vehicles like us, right? Because the ground is fully covered with what? Snow. So they will use sledges that is pulled by dogs, or else they will use a snowmobile, okay? So see, this is a sledge, okay? And this is a snowmobile. This vehicle can go in snow also, okay? And this is a snowmobile. So that's all about the life of the people, okay? So now let us watch a small video that will show you the entire concepts that we have learnt in Frigid Zone, okay? Let's watch the video and come back.
The Frigid Zone. The Frigid Zone is the coldest among all the 3 climatic zones. This is because it is located closer to the poles. It is covered with ice and snow almost throughout the year. In the northern hemisphere, the Frigid Zone lies between the Arctic Circle and the North Pole. In the southern hemisphere, the Frigid Zone lies between the Antarctic Circle and the South Pole. The northern Frigid Zone includes large areas of northern Canada, Russia, Greenland, Iceland, Arctic Ocean, Alaska, and northern Scandinavia. The southern Frigid Zone includes Antarctica. The climate in the Frigid Zone is extremely cold. This zone is located near the poles. Hence, it receives slanting rays of the sun. The region experiences mainly 2 seasons, summer and winter. Winter season lasts for about 9 months in a year. During this time, the places in this zone remain frozen. Summer season is short and lasts for about 2 or 3 months. However, the weather still remains cold. The sun is visible in the sky for 24 hours even at night. During winter, the sun is not visible in the sky even during daytime, and it remains dark all the time. Due to the extreme climate, there is very little vegetation in the Frigid Zone. During the long and harsh winters, even the ground remains frozen. It is only during summer that the snow starts to melt and shrubs, mosses, lichens, and herbs grow close to the ground. Very few animals can survive in the extremely cold climatic conditions. animals living in the frigid zone have thick coats of fur which protect them from the cold. Most of the birds from the frigid zone migrate to warmer regions during the long winters. Arctic fox, reindeer, seals, penguins, and killer whales are some animals found in this zone. The population in the frigid zone is low due to the extremely cold climate. There are no permanent residents in Antarctica. However, there are some research stations on this continent. In the northern hemisphere, people live near the coasts where the snow melts in summer. People live in permanent houses made of wood. The main occupations are hunting and fishing. People wear clothes made from wool and animal skin. They travel by sledges pulled by dogs or use a snowmobile on snow-covered areas. Let us recall what we just learned. The frigid zone is the coldest among all the three climatic zones. In the northern hemisphere, the frigid zone lies between the Arctic Circle and the North Pole. In the southern hemisphere, the frigid zone lies between the Antarctic Circle and the South Pole. Winter lasts for about 9 months in a year. Summer lasts for only 2 or 3 months. Animals found in the frigid zone have a thick coat of fur, which protects them from the cold. The population is not very dense. The main occupations of the people are hunting and fishing.
Yes, children, now shall we recall all the concepts what we have learned today? Yes, see, first we have discussed about the wildlife in the frigid zone, right? So, what are the adaptations these animals have? So, only very few animals can survive here because of the extreme cold weather. And see, animals have thick fur to protect themselves from the cold. And most animals have white fur which helps them to blend into the landscape. And sometimes their fur turns into light brown in summer, okay? And see, some animals hibernate during winter season since no food is available. Hibernate means they will go for a long sleep, okay? And then see, birds migrate to warmer regions during the long winters. So birds will move from that place to some warmer regions during this long winters, okay? And what are the animals we can see here? Arctic fox, polar bear, reindeer, muskox, Arctic hare, walrus, seal, penguin and killer whale, okay? What are the animals we can see here? Arctic fox, polar bear, reindeer, muskox, Arctic hare, walrus, seal, penguin and killer whale, okay? And what are the birds we can see here? Arctic tern and harlequin duck, okay? Arctic tern and harlequin duck. So that's all about the wildlife, right? Yes, now let us recall the life of the people in the frigid zone. So here the population is low due to the extreme cold climate, and in Antarctica, that is in the southern hemisphere, life is next to impossible. That means almost impossible, okay? And in the northern hemisphere, where people live near the coast, okay? Where the snow melts in summer. And the people who live in Greenland, Russia and Canada are known as Inuits, and the people who live in Alaska are known as Aleutians, okay? And they live in permanent houses made of wood. And what are their main occupations? Hunting and fishing. And agriculture is impossible here as the ground remains frozen throughout the year, okay? And nowadays, people can grow crops in the summer season when the snow melts, okay? And then what type of clothes these people wear? People wear clothes made from wool and animal skin. And how they will travel? People travel by sledges pulled by dogs or use a snowmobile. Okay. So these are the things we have learned in today's class, right? So now I hope that you have a clear idea on frigid zone, right? So If you have any doubt, contact me, okay? So in the next class, we can recall all the concepts what we have learned in chapter 4, okay? That is, we can recall completely about the temperate zone and the frigid zone, okay? So meet you in the next class. Thank you.